Welcome back to the course on cybersecurity. So in today's class, I'm going to discuss on web technology. So what basically is web technology is all about? So it refers to various tools and techniques that can be utilized for the process of communication between different types of devices over the internet. So this basically is all about web technology. So the components used in web technologies includes World Wide Web. So this basically is a global system of interconnection of documents and resources linked through hyperlinks and accessed via web browsers. So commonly used web browsers includes Google Chrome, Firefox, and Microsoft Edge. So this will help in accessing the content on internet. So web development involves creating and maintaining websites and web applications. So these all put together are the components of web, followed by which we have web servers. So web servers job is to store and deliver the web content to users browsers based on the request. Example, Apache, Microsoft. These are few web servers. So the content, whichever is placed on the internet, requires web security. So this content is actually web security is primarily focusing on how to protect data and users' privacy. Measures include SSL, TLS encryption, secured authentication, and regular security audits. So regular security audits helps in preventing the data or the database getting corrupted or unauthorized access and stealing of information can be prevented. So security audit basically helps in finding out the weak spots and providing a proper solution. So web standards, organizations like World Wide Web Consortium establish web standards so as to have compatibility and easy access across different devices on website across the globe. So that is the basic requirement or need to have a web standard. So this diagram shows the illustration of a standard client server architecture tailored for an Internet of Things environment. So basically, this structure is designed for an IoT environment. So core components includes the front end and the back end. Front end comprises of the client side, whereas the back end comprises the server side. So in the front end represents users facing interface and edge hardware. So basically app. So here we have shown applications, IoT devices, and portals. So when I talk on applications, mobile or web applications are used by customers to interact with devices, and IoT devices includes physical hardware unit executing embedded software to collect data or to perform a specific task. Portals or web dashboards used by administrators to monitor system or manage configurations. So this is all about the front end. So what basically internet is? So internet is the communication medium bridging client request with server responses. So here responses will be taken care by server through API and database. So what basically is your backend or the server side does is it is a centralized logic and a storage unit. So server is a host machine processing uh, request logic. That is actually the job of a server. API stands for application programming interface. The secured entry gateway routing specific messages between your clients and the internal server functions. So ultimately, you know what a database does. Database, the structural storage unit holding system states, user records, and IoT data. So followed by which we will be discussing on the architecture of cyberspace. So when we talk on the architecture of cyberspace, it is a network infrastructure. So The global network infrastructure is always commonly referred as internet. So this comprises of physical as well as the virtual components. So physical components includes routers, switches, data centers, and undersea cables, which allows packets to be routed across the network, for which we will require internet. So to carry out all these activities, there is a need for a protocol. So commonly used protocols include uh, TCP, IP, HTTP, SMTP, and FTP that covers a specific type of data exchanges. So various communication protocols helps us to tell how data is getting transmitted and received in a cyberspace. So these protocols we have already discussed in the previous video. So what basically your DNS does? So DNS is a crucial component of the cyberspace that helps in translating human readable domain names into an IP address. So this helps users to access the website and other resources, whatever is available. So data centers, these are the main spots or houses where servers can store and deliver the digital content whenever there is a request for a particular service. They play an important role in hosting websites, applications, and cloud services. So cyber security, the architecture of cyberspace includes main security measures to protect data, the network, and the user. Basically, cyber security will be taken care with the help of firewall, basic encryption, intrusion detection systems, and antivirus softwares. A few good examples to provide better cyber security components. And coming up to web applications and services, common applications are available and online services based on the request. So all user requests are promptly served by the server to retrieve data from the database, and the contents are delivered to the user's device. So user device includes computers, smartphones, tablets, and IoT devices. Each device has its own hardware and software so that it can quickly communicate and connect with the cyberspace. Cloud computing. So this plays a vital role. Cloud services and platforms plays an integral part of the cyberspace architecture. So cloud providers offer scalable computing resources, storage, as well as services, allowing organizations to use the cloud services to the fullest possible. And coming up to social media and online communities. So cyberspace includes virtual communities like social media platforms where content is shared and people work online. IoT, as I showed you, the first good example of an IoT device getting connected helps in exchanging, collecting data from the environment. One good example could be a home automation system, weather monitoring system, agricultural system. All those are good examples of IoT kind of applications. So to carry out all these activities and to stick to the regulations, there are regulations and governance that helps in keeping the cyberspace private and secure. So organizations like Internet Corporation for assigned names and numbers oversee the domain name management. And cyberspace is basically a dynamic and an evolving environment with new technologies that helps in updating the current business and digital ecosystem. So with this, I am closing this session. We'll meet you in the next session. Thank you.